I don't want to call it a wild one because sort of nothing really surprises me anymore in this game. But there is a story of a guy who's seemingly his hot wallet was obviously compromised over a year ago, and whoever it was that's done this has then waited like 12 months time to extract over 900 grand out of the wallet. So I'm just going to rattle through some of this. So delayed crypto heist. This hacker waited over a year to strike and steal 908k, as I've just said. So the incident traces back to the 30th of April last year when the victim unknowingly signed a malicious ERC20 token approval. Security analysts believe the approval may have been triggered by a phishing site or a fake airdrop campaign. This action granted a scammer the control of a wallet. We all know how this works. And then for more than a year, the compromised wallet remained largely inactive and held little value. That changed, though, on the 2nd of July when the user deposited over 700k, well, actually just shy of 800 to be fair, in USDC from a MetaMask wallet, followed shortly by another 146k from a Kraken account. Then the attacker appeared to monitor the address for weeks, waiting until the balance was high enough before executing a single Swift transaction on the 2nd of August, draining the wallet at 4:57 a.m. UTC. Yeah. First of all, thoughts go out to this guy, by the way. But I'm not even sure how to phrase this question to you, lads. Like, how, when we talk about OPSEC, right, we started the first half of this episode talking about, you know, government acceptance of DeFi and integrating it into real lives and stuff like this. And one of the questions that I asked you about DeFi was whether that's better for users or institutions. Now we're talking about Coinbase and we haven't touched too much on like non-custodial and kind of permissionless. But the question I'm asking is, unless we can actually get a grip of this kind of thing, when you talk about retail and mass adoption, how realistic is it to think that your average person would be able to think about this kind of thing, given that highly intelligent people who are used to operating on chain probably have a lot of things that they're aware of from an OPSEC point of view? How do you combat this? Because I'm kind of out of ideas.
I think this is why you're seeing a lot of people choosing ETFs over self-custody. And you're going to see that, obviously, we've seen it with BTC,
Yeah.
going to see it with ETH, because there is many pitfalls with being the custodian of your own funds. And you're seeing that. It's almost a weekly occurrence on the podcast, to be fair. We're always seeing things like this occurring. So I think in terms of like OPSEC, people obviously need to be rotating their funds to fresh keys on a whatever basis they choose. But holding tokens in very old wallets where you've probably clicked tens of thousands of times, like, you're at risk. So I think in terms of OPSEC, you do need to be looking into best practices and thinking about what you're doing in terms of what systems can you put in place to remove yourself from these things happening. Like your main wallet that you're holding long-term funds on, that shouldn't be a wallet you're trading from, as an example. I think it just pays to be more and more paranoid in this industry, because as it is growing, you're seeing more of those pitfalls, which are linked to cybercrime and also physical crimes as well, people being actually attacked for their funds. So it is getting worse. So yeah, I think you have to think long and hard about what you're doing with your funds.
Waj, what do you think about this? Do you have kind of standard practices if that you run through? Like, how often do you sort of revoke access across wallets and stuff like that? I know I'm probably guilty of some bad habits. Do you think about this stuff frequently, or
Yeah, I think it's very easy nowadays to like revoke all your approvals. I think everyone's heard of it. Everyone's done it once before at least. So I think it should just be like a thing that you just do every now and then. I think like this person didn't revoke their approvals for practically a year, and then yeah, so I think like just like how you have to secure your seed phrase in a secure place, you got to do these other things as well. Otherwise, you're just leaving yourself exposed. And clearly, obviously, this person clicked on some phishing link to begin with. I think like and then not only just clicked on it, probably connected their wallet and signed something as well. So I think already there's a huge mistake. I think with time, I'm not so worried about this. You know, things like the recent Ethereum Pectra upgrade is going to like eventually get rid of approvals altogether. So, you know, you won't really have things like that. I think things are generally going to be a lot more secure. Probably in the future, you can set some limits on like how much your wallet can withdraw per day. So you could set a limit like, I'm only going to withdraw 10K max per day. And the wallet won't let you withdraw any more than that until you sign it on a multi-sig or something like that. So I'm sure like with time, like all of these security practices will just become super mainstream. I'm not really worried about it. I think it'll fix itself in due time.
Wonder if this would have been flagged by Rabbi had he not been a Crapper Mask user.
Probably.
I was going to say, I mean, one of the key things there is, yeah, maybe. But I think that I myself am guilty of when you're moving fast on chain, especially, and you kind of not. I mean, you get familiar, don't you, with prompts and shit like that. And even though I try and slow myself down, especially if I'm shitcoining, you just going through the motions.
Yeah, but then you're not going to send $1 million to your wallet in one go, something like that, right? Like,
is the flip side here that either he's been targeted, to be fair, like individually targeted, because typically if you've clicked a phishing link, your funds just disappear as soon as you deposit, or is this some ingenious scam to harvest the loss potentially?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was just going to say, I think if you just use a hardware wallet or a multi-sig and revoke your approvals and just be careful about clicking on links, you're generally going to be totally fine.
Hi, if you like that clip, our producer tells me that I have to record this sort of stuff now and Grant won't do it, so go here to watch the next one.